Emotions. Although each and every one of us feel them, that doesn't mean we all deal with them the same way. Some may choose to keep them all bottled up inside them, some may have a hard time expressing themselves, and others may have a hard time keeping it all under control when the going gets rough. No one is immune from having bad days or making mistakes based on how we're feeling. Not even me. But there are ways to help regulate those emotions in order to avoid repeating mistakes and ultimately feel better about ourselves. I'm Steven from Tostemac, and for today's autism video, I'm gonna share with you some advice on how to improve emotion regulation. Before I do though, it's important to understand what emotion regulation is, and more importantly, what it is not. Emotion regulation does not mean that you have to act fake and pretend everything's okay when the truth is it's not. Nor is it about keeping it all inside you so that no one else sees. It's about a person's ability to manage and respond to emotional experiences, about how they can moderate their emotions when the need arises. And the truth of the matter is, you won't be able to do emotion regulation if you are not honest with yourself first. The first step to solving any problem is to acknowledge that the problem exists. So if you feel like something's wrong, or if you're about to get upset or angry, take some time to address the issue. Even if it means you have to excuse yourself from a public place or work in order to avoid a future mistake. Once you are honest with yourself, only then will you be able to practice emotion regulation. Now that we've gone over what emotion regulation is and what it is not, let's go over the advice I have for you. The first one being, talk to someone about it. Talking to someone about whatever's got you down can help you feel that you're not alone in this, and that maybe by talking to someone about this problem can help you find the solution. Ideally, you'll want to talk to a friend or a family member about whatever your problem is, as they are more understanding of you rather than a stranger or a bystander. In this way, you don't have to worry about filtering what it is you need to say. You can just say it, because the friend or family member should know you long enough to understand you. Now, you may have noticed that I said the word should. That's because not everybody has this option available to them. And as long as this possibility exists, it would be wrong of me to ignore it. If this is starting to sound like you, or maybe you want to seek a more professional kind of help, seek out a therapist. Yes, it can be possible that talking to a stranger like a therapist about your personal issues may feel awkward or at times uncomfortable. However, try to think of it this way. A therapist is a licensed mental health professional who specializes in helping you explore your thoughts, feelings, and behavior patterns to, in turn, assist you with developing better cognitive and emotional skills in order to help you better cope with the challenges and stresses of everyday life. In other words, listening to whatever problems you may have and trying to come up with possible solutions is essentially their job, so don't worry. They're here for you. The remaining tips I have for you in this video might be something that a therapist could recommend, but since you're here already, I'll give them to you anyway. One of the elements that you might want to look into is how much sleep are you getting? Do you find yourself staying up late at night, maybe up till midnight or past midnight, because of the thoughts and feelings in your head? Only to have to wake up at like 6 in the morning because you have to get ready for school or work? Sleep deprivation can have some negative impacts on your life, such as having a hard time remembering important things, difficulties with staying focused on a task, being in a bitter and negative mood, and that's just to name a few. A well-rested mind is more likely to make better choices than one that's got 6 or less hours of sleep. If this is starting to sound like you, try to rearrange your schedule in a way that you can guarantee more hours of sleep. Ideally, you want 8 to 10 hours for teenagers and 7 to 9 hours for adults. Once you fix your sleep schedule, you should find that you're in a more positive mood when you wake up and have more energy to tackle the day to come. Speaking of energy, another factor that you may want to look into is a possible exercise routine. When something goes wrong in your life, let's say you made a mistake or there's a last-minute change of plans, or if someone makes you upset or angry, there's this excess amount of energy that builds up inside you. How you use that energy is up to you. Do you lash out at someone and regret it later, or do you use that energy in a more productive way? You see, exercises do more for us than just help us lose weight. They can help us release that excess energy in a manner that doesn't bring harm to anyone. Such examples can include push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, running, jogging, lifting weights, or doing jumping jacks, squeezing a stress ball, any of these really. Whichever one you choose, and hey, you don't have to be restricted to just one or two, you could choose multiple of them. If you stick to a routine of this, you'll find there's quite a difference. You'll find that the excess energy is well spent, as it improves your physique along with your physical and mental well-being. Coinciding with energy, you might also want to look into what foods you're eating in your diet. And I'm not just talking about eating healthy foods, getting your nutrients, and making sure you're not overeating, although those are really important. I'm talking about one of the reasons that you might feel so down is probably because you're eating the exact same thing day in and day out. Even if it's your most favorite food of the entire world, if you're eating the same thing every single day, eventually that flavor is going to lose its luster. Variety is the spice of life and status quo is the starch. And here I mean that quite literally. So if this is starting to sound like you, try to spice things up a bit. Perhaps you can go to a restaurant and order something that you don't usually have. Or maybe you can throw some fruits and vegetables into the mix. They're quite refreshing. Or if you cook your own meals, perhaps try a new recipe or maybe do a different seasoning. Trying a new delicious meal that you don't have every single day can be its own reward, and you'll feel rewarded for it. So even if this is not about trying a new food that you never had before, try to change things up a bit. See how it works. The final tip I have for you in this video is a little something called self-compassion. Let's face it, we could all use a little pick-me-up and a little sense of encouragement every now and then. Even the best of us. And while it's great to get that encouragement and pick-me-ups from friends of ours, it's also important that we give them to ourselves too. Part of becoming someone special is to believe that you can be, because when you believe in yourself, then anything is possible. Some ways you can give encouragement to yourself and a pick-me-up is probably treating yourself to something like going to the movies or going shopping at a mall when you've done something great or gotten through a rather hectic day at work. Maybe when you're off work, you want to work on your little hobby. Maybe it's collecting things, working on computer stuff, or hey, making videos for a YouTube channel. Or maybe it's as simple as looking at your own reflection in a mirror and giving yourself a pep talk. Something like, you got this, you're the best, you can do whatever it is you set your mind to. Whatever it is, make sure it's something that makes you happy. Something that makes you believe that you are special, that you are worth it, that you could do anything that you set your heart and mind to. And believe me when I say you are definitely worth the effort. And there you have it, my advice on how to improve emotion regulation. I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope it helps you, and if you have any other questions or concerns about this, let me know in the comment section below. On that note, it's time to end the video. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you enjoy what you see, consider subscribing to Tostemac and clicking the bell icon to stay up to date in our latest videos. Also, on a side note, my younger brother Thomas actually helped create a video game called Split. I'll leave a video for the trailer here, and you can check it out on Steam for only $10. And until the next video, See you later.